Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sunday Reset. Oh my goodness, what a week we have had! It has been a crazy week. Wouldn't you agree? Mm, it's, yeah, I did a lot of posting yesterday, videoing and posting, but it's the energies. I gotta say, I don't know about you all, but I know for myself, I have found that the days have been kind of weird and the energy has been sort of quite unique, let's say. And I just was actually really looking forward to this Sunday reset. I really was. I was going through the astrology, and just the astrology just for this week has been, I'm going to say, off the like, I mean, we've gone through some crazy astrology. I know we have, but it has been, I feel, an off the chart. I from the full moon to Mercury retrograde, Neptune stationary, going to go retrograde, Jupiter going into Leo, Venus coming into the last lap of Leo, Moon is in Pisces right now. It's just, whew, that's, I'm just going through my notes here. Um, and what has been unveiled for us. And I don't know if any of you, like, I didn't watch too much of because I have a girlfriend down in California, and she was in the Santa Monica parade. So she sent me some pictures of her being in the Santa Monica parade and stuff, and their celebration and everything. So I was watching her stuff, and her celebration with her family and stuff. It was kind of cool. Uh, for their 250. It was a huge celebration in the States. That's the other thing. The lead up to the 250, the controversy about, things, um and the atmosphere of what's happening in the world around us. I feel that it's under business, Mary. That this summer is extremely it's extremely unique. I think this summer is also where what I am noticing, where's my notes? I got to find my notes here. What I have been noticing is that because we're coming into this cradle, and then was reading up about Andre, can't pronounce his last name, who was an astrologer back in the day, about because he was a mundane astrologer, and he talked about, and a lot of his predictions came through, and that's because in mundane astrology we use not only the outer planets, but we also go by their rotations and things that happen when, the history of their rotation. So that's why you can predict certain things. So you have an idea there's going to be some kind of disruption, or there's going to be something that's going to be unique that's going to happen because of past of instances that have happened when these planets get together. And this one that's coming in, where a lot the outer planets are going to be at 4 degrees, is really a powerful one because it forms what they call, it's like a cradle, it's like a cup, that they form in the heavens, and it's July the 19th. So we have that buildup. And even he was predicting of the changes of social society happening at this time, right? And this is where I feel, with a lot of the transformation and changes, Bobo's basket or something like that. Yeah. Basket. Yeah. I'll look it up so I can say this properly. First, I got to find my notes for today. So this has been some kind of, like, especially with the energies and everything. So let's go back to the top here. What am I talking about? Things I'm going to be doing. And I'm going to bring up, I think it was on astro.com. I was reading about July. Bear with me. Because we have Mercury right now is trining Pluto and sextiling Neptune. And it's a lesser malefic. It's not as crazy, but it is very thundery kind of malefic kind of energy. Um, that has to do with the ego. So a lot to do with the ego that's coming in. So if you're having problems with your crown right now, I would say there's a lot to do with that Mars trine Pluto and the sextiling over to Neptune. And so the Mars energy that's coming through, so that's it's not as bad as Saturn, but it can cause a little bit of havoc with energies coming in. And Pluto's energies operate slowly and relentlessly, and being a Leo, opposition with the Leo, because Pluto brings up the craziness of Aquarius. So it brings up a lot of the craziness, and then when something happens, it can actually can give you headaches and give you dizziness, and especially with Neptune in there. Neptune brings in a lot of, sometimes it'll be the downloads that you don't wanna get kinda thing. So you could get the downloads and stuff like that. Wasn't that the French? I think he's French. Let me see, Andre. I'm just gonna go like this. Andre. Oopsie. Andre. The cradle, the cradle, the cradle, cradle. Um, I hate pop-ups. Oh my god. Andre Barbault, Barbault. And he talked about, and it's called the Barbault cradle. And some of his predictions, once you a lot of stuff will come up all over TikTok and everything because of some of the, I mean, he predicted the Berlin Wall, that, with the Berlin Wall falling down. He's predicted a lot of other things too, as well. So, and I talked a little bit about him yesterday, because I just reading more about him, and I found him extremely interesting. Let's see. I'll just go like this. Copy. And the information that he was bringing out, and that's just using mundane astrology, right? It's just coming in and using astrology and what that astrology has in. He is renowned. He's a French astrologer, and he talks about the alignment with the outer planets, so Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, and Jupiter. And it's about a massive turning point for humanity. Now, before this happens, usually you'll start feeling the energies of, something's happening, something's, going on, right? You can feel it, right? And this is where it's like, even with the full moon, yeah, even with the full moon, you can feel an activation before the full moon and then the activation after the full moon. And definitely on the day, but some people who are extremely sensitive can start feeling that, those downloads and those vibrations and the transitions that are happening before. And I feel like this is and because we're having a new moon that's coming up on July the 14th, just before, and it's in Cancer, and Mercury's retrograde in Cancer. We are going to start feeling a lot of these vibrations, especially coming into this week. This week is really going to be, I'm going to feel like a very oceanic waves. That's what I'm going to call it, with Neptune sending through like electricity through the system. Now, the thing is that with your electrical system, your nervous system, that is what we have to work with. And I'm glad Candace was talking, she just said that she did yoga for the nervous system. Perfect. That is exactly what we need to look at. Even if you don't do yoga, there are simple things you can do with yoga. And it's very important to start to do these things, if not once a week. Do them, if you can do them at least 3 to 4 times a week. Now, I know a lot of people out there are going to say, well, I got this, I can't do it, I can't get off the floor. I don't give a fuck. Get on a chair and start doing them. This is where this activation is happening, right? And it'll help, because if the nervous system is fried, it doesn't matter what you do. Doesn't matter how you take care of yourself. When the nervous system is fried, the rest of you is fried. Right? Because that is it works with your immune system, it works with your thyroid, it works with your lymph nodes. There's all different, because it goes out, right? So you got to think of little spideys going out into the rest of your body, and you start to feel it, right? And that's why it's so important to be doing these things and doing, the meditations, the prayers, and the reset. And Andre was, when he was talking about it, about this configuration and the grand planetary alignment, I mentioned it also in my predictions that I did about the last 6 months of with the predictions of the energies that are coming in with this cradle that's coming in. A lot of other astrologers have been talking about it as well. The Leo King has been talking about this for over a year plus, too. So there's something to be had. This is like, I feel like this is an important alignment that's coming up. And when it looks at the energies that are coming in, we got a tight aspect between Jupiter and Pluto, right? That opposition in Leo and Aquarius. So you have the opposition, so it's squaring it's going to be squaring Taurus, and it's going to be squaring Scorpio. We also have the Uranus in Gemini, and it's coming up to this 4-degree point. This 4-degree point is actually a pivotal point in Gemini. Gemini, going up to, if you, John Dietz talks about it, and of the ladder ascending to heaven, right? So it's going to be activating that point at 4 degrees. And with Neptune in Aries, so it's creating a harmonious web of air and fire signs that's coming in. And so there's a huge activation, not only with for the mental, the physical, and the spiritual part of ourselves. So Balbolt viewed this planetary basket as the end of a long depressive cycle. So marking a reorganization of the world and shifting towards collective solidarity. Now, I'm going to bring in a little bit of woohoo cray cray. All right. Come into my world. Come on into my world. Allegedly, should I say, there is a famous singer who just got married. This famous singer is the daughter of one of the biggest Satanists, who had allegedly sex with his daughter. That's why this singer looks very much like her, allegedly. Now, with this energy and with what she is, because she does a lot of things. I've never liked her. I'm not a Swiftie. Whoops, oops. I'm not a Swiftie. I'm not a Beyonce fan. I'm not any of those fans. I could never listen. Their music irritates me. It really, sometimes I listen to it, and I some of the older stuff, and you get into it and it's like, oh yeah, okay. I like the beat, and you can get into it because it draws you in. That's what the music does. It does draw you in. And then you're like, oh no, I'm not supposed to like that. But she had um, a huge event this last weekend. And this event this last weekend was her marriage. Now, allegedly, she was born a boy and everything was transitioned, which is very much what they do because of the transgender thing, allegedly, is all about Satan and Baal and transgender and sex changes and things along that line. No, she had this big event. Everybody had to sign an MDA or whatever it is to go to it. It was a couple day event. You saw some of the big stars going in there, um, that were a part of it. And I think it was very much, and everything was closed. Everybody who like servers that were there signed an MDA, and millions of dollars were paid out to people who were just waitresses. All right? Because whatever went on there stays there. No photos, no nothing were allowed into the event. Hmm. 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 So you had a huge activation at a huge center in New York with everything else that's going on, especially in that area of an activation that happened. Could there have been a certain ritual that went on? Especially after we just had a full moon, we had all of this, CERN, and how her happened to be. And the other part too, allegedly, that one of the big backers or of CERN that was a part of the rituals and everything else pulled out. And that's one of the reasons why they had to close down, allegedly. So I heard. I don't know. And so a lot of the smaller ones, because there's smaller little collider that are around the world, deactivate it. It's kind of like you needed the mother spider, right, going in order to make the little spiders going. That's why the energy is really shifted and is really changed. But you have others that are trying to ramp up the energy, right, to keep it going. So if over the last couple days, if you felt a little bit off, even though you like, okay, this is good. Oh, why am I anxious? Oh, okay, no, this is, I feel it. The skies are brighter. I don't know about you. I was out the other day. I was cloud watching. If you didn't watch my video, saw my elephants, saw all these things in the sky, but the sky looks bluer. Maybe I'm crazy, and I'm not on acid because I know when you take acid, like things can look a lot brighter. Not on acid, just to say, or shrooms. So in that trying to shift us, is trying to create something that they can't. Now, this is where the light works. This is when you know that there's a higher power. Because the thing is that when you look at everything to do, and I've been doing another deep dive on something else here, which is really mind fucking me, but it's, anyways, put that aside, table that. Going back to this, because of this energy that's coming in right now, we know that the light is much stronger. And the reason why we know that the light is much stronger is because of these things having to turn off. Because of these things, they're saying, oh, we're going to put it back on in 4 years. Will they be able to? Don't know. Don't know. Right? In terms of the sky's brighter. Yay! So this is where I feel, because of the cosmos, because of a negative energies, the Satanist energies and stuff, they can't they can't penetrate your mind, but they can go in to your illusions, into the dreams. Like they can try to manipulate your illusions, meaning the illusions of feeling of lack, of poor, of disassociation with the world, that feeling that God is made up, there's no goodness in the world, there's all evil in the world. That's what they work on, because they can portray that to you very easily. Okay, they can um create negative things in your life, crazy things to happen in your life, and you feel, oh man, the universe is against me, the universe doesn't have my back, this is all bullshit, because it's instantaneous. And that's what they work on. They work on instantaneous. They work on that energy that can, well, yeah, come on, hey, I can give it to you now, I can do this to you now. That's how they pull you in, right? You can get this instant high. Look at this. Doesn't the world look so much greater? Come on, do you want it again? Do you want another hit? Do you want another hit? This is why I feel like, I mean, because they work on that illusion, the instant. And only like evil, that's the only thing that God has allowed it to do, because it can't control it. When you come into your true soul and your true spirit, it can't control you, because you come into that energy and there's an alignment there. When you enter into that alignment, when you enter into that oneness, right? And this is where the architecture is, because it doesn't happen with the mind. It happens with the alignment with the nervous system, and working with the nervous system, working with that, doing the yoga, and doing other energy work that works with the nervous system, because that helps you to be able to focus, to ground, to see, and it helps you to grow stronger when you are doing that. The focus on what you create within the light, within your soul, and that alignment. That's where this energy is coming in this week. Heavy duty. Heavy duty, I'm going to say. But it's one that I feel is doing a reset, like doing this and understanding how the energies are working out this week, helps us to be able to stand in our gratitude, stand into a place of peace. And the universe isn't punishing you, it's preparing you, right? That's where we're at. And so with this Sunday reset, with what the earth how the earth happens this week, honestly, if you've, like, as I said, if you felt like someone picked up your life, shook it like a snow globe, and put it back down, you're not imagining. This has been one of the busiest astrology weeks we've been in for a long time. And we're only in the first week of July. This feels like, the summer starts now. Not vacation mode, it's transformation mode. And that's where we're at. This is where I feel, and I'm just going to do this little prayer that I got. Is like, Heavenly Father, help us not to fear the change. Help us to trust that even when life feels uncertain, you are still guiding every step. Give us wisdom instead of worry. Give us courage instead of hesitation. Give us laughter when everything feels serious. Show us where old structures are falling so stronger foundations can be built. Help us become more, the people who adapt without losing ourselves. Open our hearts to the adventure you have waiting for us. And may we move with faith instead of fear. Amen. This is a true activation. And I don't talk about that very much. I don't talk about, um, like the Lions Gate and bullshit like that. This is where I feel this energy that's coming in, and this cradle that's coming in, this cup that's being formed, is really bringing in a lot of change, not only actively on the world, but I feel it's also actively within our own selves, and that's where it starts. The outer planets are our subconscious. So it's really reactivating our knowledge, reactivating our connection, reactivating what we need to the systems that we need to start to integrate within ourselves. And there are a lot of outer influence that want to manipulate this energy, and they will do it, and they, because they want to keep control, they want to keep that control, hence the big event that just happened with that, with the wedding and all that bullshit. This is where, a lot of people are going to be feeling tired. Plans are going to change. Emotions have been all over the place. So, and that full moon in Capricorn, what isn't working anymore? Where are you carrying responsibility that don't belong to you? And what mountain are you climbing because someone else handed you the backpack? Capricorn doesn't sugarcoat things. It asks you to grow, take the responsibility, but only your life. It doesn't ask you to take everybody else with you. And the Mercury in Cancer, it's not technology. It's family, it's home, it's old emotions, the conversations you avoided, the feelings you buried. And yes, if you're traveling, double check everything, reservations, whatever you're doing, directions, gas, hotels. If you got an electric car, make sure you charted out all the little electrical places that you need to plug into. This is where, with Mercury retrograde, rewards flexibility. You're going somewhere, sometimes you might hit something. Take a book, take a jar of bubbles, blow bubbles. It's allowing yourself to embrace in a lot of disruptions and unorganizations that are going to happen this week. And I feel it's so important for us to look at those little things as well. This week, I feel that, this week is really if you're moving fast and you're wanting to get it all done, you need to you're going to run into a lot of disruptions. Venus has lost her connection to Saturn, yet Jupiter boasts, pride and higher expectations. With that Mars, it's a hyperactivity and enterprising. It just came off of a conjunction with Uranus. I feel like it wasn't as, people were, I was wanting something, I thought something crazy would happen, but I think there's something underlying that's happening and that's going on. I know in California, and even my girlfriend was saying they had drones up and surveilling to make sure everything went without a hitch and stuff like that. So drone surveillance, more of a police state. They do that in Russia, and they have that also in China. With the drones can oversee, hover over crowds and everything else. They've been using a lot of their technology. There was where was it? Was it in Albania? I think maybe it was Albania. Anyways, they used one of the sound weapons, and where the crowd was, and everybody just dispersed. It was crazy to watch. Um, so we have, things like that that are coming in, but there's also this other energy that's coming forth that's saying, no, we're not going along with that. We're not listening to what you're saying one thing, but you're not coming up with an action point. You're not coming up with where we can end up. You're just doing the highlight reels, and that's what people are tired. They're tired of the highlight reels. They're tired of the promises that don't lead to anything. This is where, no, we're wanting the solutions. We're wanting things to be taken into action. So this is an action oriented energy. Hence, It's fire and air. Fire and air are action-oriented energies. They're not sit around pansy type of energies to sit around and say, "Ooh, let's sit around and sort of let's feel it through." No, fire and air is like they're like, "Okay, we read the book on the emotions, we understand the emotions, we're taking the action, we're going forward." Fire is like, "Yeah, we got the passion behind you. We're going to move through this." And that's what we got to step into. We got to step into this energy and not be afraid of it because we've been so long in earth and water. We are now activated the air energy, which is action. It's bold. It's making moves that you didn't think you would make. And that's what we're doing. And that's part of this week. If you're feeling that your soul is pulling you towards something, but your mind is going off in a different direction, take a moment. Take a moment, put your hand on your heart and your hand on your solar plexus and feel that energy and that activation as we go through. Because Mars and Uranus, it's electricity, it's rumbling, it's Uranus wants freedom, right? And it doesn't knock on the door politely, it just so new energies, new opportunities, technology, learning, meeting people, changing routines. Gemini reminds us movement creates momentum. And that's where we have to go. Leo, that Jupiter in Leo, this is one that makes me smile. It really does, because the universe is saying, stop hiding, create something, sing, dance, laugh, wear the bright colors, start the YouTube channel, post the videos, take the chance. Leo isn't about ego, it's about courage. And taking that courage, doing that thing, right? Doing the follow up. You had a conversation with somebody, follow up with them. Neptune slowly before retrograde asks, where have you been living in fantasy? Get the fuck, it's, yeah. Where have you ignored your intuition? Where have you been given away your power, right? The fog is lifting, truth becomes easier to see. And Chiron in Taurus, this one feels a little bit huge because for years it's been teaching us who we are. And now it begins teaching us what are our values, our money, our security, our self-worth, our bodies, the earth, our relationship with relationships with enough. And then we have that Saturn and it's squaring the sun. And this isn't comfortable. And Saturn says, do the work. Cancer says, I don't feel like it. Saturn says, do it anyways. It's structure, it's discipline, it's doing the work. And so many people out there don't want to do the work. They don't want to do the ground. They just want it, somebody to come knocking on the door. But no, nobody's coming knocking on the door. Not unless you've invited them over and done that work. That's where this energy is coming in this week. You got to be courageous. You got to reach out and do it. If you're not, you're going to if you're not, I don't know what to say. I know even for myself going out there doing this, I was humming and hawing. Should I do the Sunday reset? So I went and I just like, okay, an average of 13 people watch this video. 13. I've got 321 people following me. Whoop, whoop. There's celebrations to be had. I'm not getting the 1,000 views. I would like to get 1,000 views, but right now I'm not. Fine. I accept to where I am, but I'm still here. I still promote. I still get out there. It's so important to do that because this energy isn't hiding behind and knitting and watching Netflix. This energy is get the fuck out there and show people what you do. Show your family what you want to do. Maybe there's more things you want to do with your family. Maybe it's getting in the trailer. Let's go camping. Let's connect. Let's create a community I want to create. What kind of community do you want to create? Right? This energy isn't hiding away. If you're hiding, fire and air does not fucking hide. If anybody knows any air signs, they don't hide. They want to get out there. They want to do something. Whatever it is that they want to do. They want to get out there. They want to do something. They're not ones to sit around. Leo energy comes in with the passion. They're the performers. They're the ones that say, "Okay, let's take the action. Let's do it. Let's create something." And that creating could be something that you are promoting to do in the arts. Maybe it's not the isolation of getting the tea and being the grandma. That's where you got a lot of these little Gen Zs are going to have a hell of a problem because they can't hide. They got to get out, they got to interact, and they got to work. There's work to be done. It's not easy to create your business. It's not easy to create your substance in your life. You got to do something. It's not going to be fucking handed to you. And sometimes you might say, "Oh, I don't want to do the market. I don't want to do this. It's too hard. I don't want to be around people." Well, fuck it. I'm sorry. People are going to be around. This is where I love, and I brought this in many times, of the Amish community. I love the Amish community, right? They've really made it, where they live longer. They don't have, there's no autism. Cancer rates are low within their community. Uh, they didn't run out and do everything the government says because they believe in a higher power. They believe in working with the land. They don't lock themselves away. They're still out there. They're still connecting with other, within the community. They have markets. They're involved in different markets. They're promoting the stuff that they do. They build fabulous furniture. I really do. And have you ever seen them have you ever watched the Amish build a barn? It's great. It's crazy. It's a community that comes together. Not saying that they're perfect, not saying that they don't have problems. I've watched a lot of documentaries on the Amish. They do. They say, yeah, we have problems. There's people with mental, we do have people who have depression and things like that. So, anyways, this week, what do you want to do? How are you going to create a world for your that your soul is craving? And maybe that's going to start with some yoga. Maybe that's going to start with you doing that. Okay. I want to take a moment because I'm not going to hold up your time anymore. I want you to just take a moment and just slowly breathe, connect. Connect with the energies. Seriously, just put your hands out there, open your fingers wide and connect. If you're just sitting there eating your breakfast, or you're just like, "Oh yeah, mama's just doing her shit," put the fucking shit down. Take your arms and spread them the fuck out and fucking spread your fingers. Put your feet on the ground. If you want to sit on the ground, sit on the ground. Let it all out. Now just shake your hands. Shake, shake, shake. Shake your shake. Shake everything. Shake your head. Shake it all. This resets your nervous system. This resets your energy. Shake it out. Shake, shake, shake. I know you're probably, I'm sitting in my chair. I'm shaking. My boobs are shaking. My head's shaking. My hair is shaking. Just shake it all out. Just do it. If you're laughing at me, good, because my eyes are closed. I can't see you. You can't see. I can't see you. You can't. I can't see you seeing me. Ooh, I'm patting my feet up and down on the ground. Pat them down, 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 up and down, up and down, up and down. Shake that, shake that, shake that. Ooh, shake your legs, shake your legs. Ooh, shake your butt in your chair, shake your butt in your chair. Slow it down. Slow it down. Slow it down. Let go of the old stories. Let go of the fear. Feel it fading away. Old expectations. Bring in the warm summer light, fresh air, a road you haven't walked. Allow yourself to step forward in it. Take that step upon the path. Connect with your inner essence of your soul. Don't need a map. The map's within inside you. Your soul is your map. Your soul is your archetype, your architecture. You only need today's step. You only need today's action. That's all you need today. Trust the path unfolding before you. I am ready for a new experience. I release what no longer supports me. I welcome joyful change. God walks beside me every step of the way. Take a deep breath and smile. Big, beautiful smile. Thank you. Next chapter is already begun. Thank you so much for being a part of my community. If you want to join my Patreon, please go over to Patreon and join the Guru Mama. It's 62 and starting over. And my $5 experiment, we're going to start a 21-day experiment starting tomorrow, and I'll be posting up. If you're part of the community, you'll be able to access the videos. If you'd like to support me in another way, if you would like to buy me a coffee, that would be most valuable to me. So thank you. Thank you all for joining me. And have a blessed day, everybody. Bye-bye.